invaded by GMOs, and frankly, much of the world is unaware. A large percentage of people are uninformed by the term GMO itself. The purpose of this report is to highlight GMO's invasion and their ill effects that are currently invading our world, as very few people know that GMOs are organisms whose genes have been altered to fit certain characteristics that are not present in normal organic foods or crops. GMOs are created by placing genes from one organism into another using biotechnology. What people are probably thinking is why GMOs even exist. I guess you're about to find out. Conventionally grown foods, or organic foods as many people recognize them, have a number of pros as well as cons. The positive side of organic foods. Unlike GMOs, organic foods are safe and healthy for our body. Organic foods are grown without the use of harmful chemicals, which makes them chemical-free. They are richer in different vitamins, proteins, and minerals that majority of GM foods lack. For example, President's Choice organic cereal contains 4% vitamin A per every 110 gram serving. A GM cereal from Kellogg's contains 1% vitamin A per every 110 gram serving. A coin always has two sides, so if there is a good side, there is always a bad side. Organic foods also have cons, not necessarily negative facts that deal with the health of our consumers. One negative fact about organic crops is that they are becoming scarcer. This means that there is not always enough to feed the consumers. Organic foods take a long time to grow, which means that their production cannot be matched to meet the demands at low prices. The fact that consumers find disturbing is that they are much more expensive than GM foods, and most people cannot afford to buy them on a regular basis. This is very true, but to eat quality, you have to pay quantity. For example, GM tomatoes cost 99 cents per pound, compared to one single organic, naturally grown tomato that can cost up to $1.25 each. So we can see, organic foods have encouraging as well as discouraging facts. GMOs also have their share of pros and cons. Some positive points about GMOs are, GMOs are now locally grown all over the world, both legally and illegally. GM foods are fairly easy to find. GM foods or crops grow much faster than organic foods due to the extra genes and chemicals which catalyzes their growth. For example, it takes a GM tomato 10 days to grow and mature properly, where organic tomatoes, which grow at a much slower rate, take 25 days to grow and mature properly. Both organic and GM foods have both encouraging and discouraging facts. Let's talk to organic farmer Gordon Smith and GM farmer William Stewart. So, Mr. Smith, how do you feel about organic foods? I feel that organic food is still the best source of food for me and my family. Whatever is best for me, I consider best for my customers to consume as well. Even though organic foods may tilt a little toward the bad side, the weight on the positive end of the scale weighs organic foods down into the good category. I've been watching this report, and I'm pretty sure that Sashwat here is going to convey you to the cons of GMOs for you to better understand my perspective. Thank you. So, Mr. Stewart, what do you have to say about GM foods? I feel that Even if organic foods are healthier and safer, they require way too much attention and money, and the results are only a less quantity of fresh fruit and vegetables. GMOs are less costly and much more convenient due to their enhanced characteristics. Another thing I'd like to point out before leaving is that GM foods may be the only way to feed the growing population of this world, which increases by the second. Thank you. As mentioned earlier, where there is good, there is bound to be bad. GM foods increase the risk to the lives of consumers. Over 90% GM foods contain cancer-promoting genes that increase the chance of cancer cells being produced or becoming dominant in our body. GM foods also cause enhanced allergies, which is one of their possible long-term ill effects. GM allergies have never before been accounted for because a lot of health and food agencies across the world do not require long-term testing of any food product, including GMOs. According to scientists, those allergies were never supposed to exist in the human body. GM foods and crops also release toxins into our bodies, and for people who don't know, toxin means poison. By eating GMOs, we are endangering our entire body. If we don't die or get cancer, there are still some serious effects of these toxins, which include brain damage and intestinal damage. It is true that some people live their entire life consuming GM foods and they don't get affected by any of these deadly diseases. It is still advisable to rely on scientific researches and facts than trust your luck. Let's talk to our trick-or-treater to hear how they feel about the GM candy they collected on Halloween.
I barely know anything about GMOs, but I know enough to understand that GM foods and products are bad for my health. I go trick-or-treating every year, but this year I found out that all those years I've been eating GM candy. I felt a little grossed out at first and also scared, but I continued to eat the life-threatening food with joy because of the fact that I love candy.
After discussing all the pros and cons of organic and GM foods, I conclude that although organic food is good for our health and well-being, the fact is that we cannot grow enough organic food to support the large and increasing world population. Hence, to minimize the ill effects of GM foods, a proportionate consumption of organic food is required. The other alternative is biotechnological research and advancement that might provide us with some healthier alternative at low prices to feed the large and increasing population on Earth. So there you have it, folks. You know why GMOs are being produced on our planet. Now it's up to you to decide whether you are going to continue on consuming GMOs. Are you going to change your lifestyle and eat organic? Or are you going to balance the consumption of both foods? Remember, it all depends on you. This is Sashma Panwar reporting for CBC News. Thank you.